Hello everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War 2 with this French campaign. The French people have had enough. The price of bread is way too high, and the bloody nobles are spending out of their nose of public funds. It's time for revolution. And as we can see here, the revolutionary army is on the march. We've got 3 units of demi-brigades moving forward here, followed by 2 brigades of Republican infantry, followed by a smaller brigade of Republican infantry. All the way in the back, we've got the artillery, and then on the flanks, we've got units of revolutionary horsemen. We've got 2 units over there, and then we got 2 units over on this side, and then to lead it all, we've got Napoleon. Although it's kind of, I think it's a bit strange because, you know, this is sort of cuts into the Revolutionary Wars, but for some reason they've decided to mod in old Napoleon. But I guess that's kind of a thing, because you know, similar to everyone who cosplays Elvis, cosplays Fat Elvis. It's most of the people that sort of reenact or cosplay Napoleon cosplays Fat Napoleon, if you will. Maybe that is a unworthy characterization of Napoleon, but certainly not of the people aggrandizing themselves by trying to portray him. We're gonna see there's a high ground around this farm right here. I'm gonna see if we can get my artillery up there. As we can see, there's already troops all around firing. We've got females or women of Paris, the fishmongers, are out in force. Well, they're running home now. They were put down by what's it called? Ancient regime, the ancient way. Regiments of the old order. So the king's troops is moving forward here. We got quite a lot of the king's troops. Here they're fighting more of the fishmongers, the women of Paris. My demi-brigade is about to open fire as well, so for now it's just a lot of regiment of the old order here, but there are others, like the Royal Suédois coming in. There's also, we have more allied armies. It's not just the females of Paris, although we have a few of those. The army in the middle that's supporting us is completely comprised of the sans-culottes, those without trousers, meaning the working class. They've got long breeches. They don't have the short breeches, the knee breeches of the upper class. And then also, arriving late it seems, we've got the National Guard. But they're arriving late, leaving a lot of the fighting up to the sans-culottes to hold my flank. We also have sans-culottes actually retreating through the demi-brigades, because I think we actually shot down them ourselves, given how many of them died. Ooh, the old order, now we're shooting into our own demi-brigades here, which isn't great, and the demi-brigades are about to get overrun by the regiments of the old order, so we will be pulling back behind the 1st Brigade. I was talking about the people who have pants and what kind of pants they have, and while we were, you know, shooting our own men in the back. The King's men is moving forward. The revolutionary troops open fire. Devastating volley. Okay, hold fire. Okay, I'm sure you want to really badly give give them what for, but right now you're shooting into the ranks of your own troop. Melee has erupted. I'm hoping that my guns will be ready soon enough. And so we can start spraying the enemy with canister. We're going to deploy them behind here. We've got Sans-Culottes setting up on the sides. The 1st Brigade is being heavily attacked by our enemies. I'm not entirely sure what this one is doing. We'll deploy this one going up through the flank to deal damage to the enemy, and then the Revolutionary Cavalry will get closer here. I think we might have to call in some more Revolutionary Cavalry, so we're gonna set them up on the flank of this farmhouse. Let's go in and take a closer look again. There's a... oh, they have broken through and is actually hitting the 2nd line. This unit right over here. Where is my unit? They're down to 80 men. They're almost getting overrun. The cannons need to set up immediately. I'm gonna order the demi-brigades to fall back further. Let's maybe bring Napoleon closer. I wish they would have... I don't know why they decided not to do sort of revolutionary Napoleon. I think that would have been a lot cooler, but for some reason they didn't know all Napoleon. I wonder if they may have brought in... oh shit, there's tons of troops of the King's men. I'm gonna order these two now to pull back. Okay, we've pulled back over there. You will pull back and we'll set up here. We're moving the troops to the side as we're preparing to fire canister upon our enemies. The center battery will fire. Okay, you will fire as well, and you will fire. And then these two regiments will be squeezed in and start to fire. Ooh, good shots here, but it's the King's heavy cuirassiers. And they're breaking up two of the batteries. I will counter with one of our cavalry, and then we'll have another one moving to deal with these. We'll try and see if we can get around there. We'll probably have to open up here to spring cavalry through there. Oh, more cannons getting overrun there as the enemy is pushing through. I'll order a counter charge by my cavalry to see if we can't save some of the artillery here and see if we can't set them up to actually do a little bit better here. The lines are faltering. I want to see if we can maybe push the enemy away so I can take up some of the cannons. What I should have really done is I should have brought the horse artillery, like mounted artillery. The cavalry needs to push through. We're holding on here. We're getting fired in the up in the flank. Let's have the demi-brigades pull back and draw a new line like that. Yes, they were broken here. Oh, it's just the Swiss guards. The Swiss guards. The king is deploying his foreign mercenaries against us. Right. We're getting the demi-brigades into position. I want to clear off the position here so the artillery can actually... we can reman the artillery because there's so many enemies right there. I shouldn't have pulled the artillery that far forward. But hindsight is 20/20. The cavalry will continue and chase these guys off, while the second unit will push through and attack the enemy in the back. And then we'll have these two units turning up, while you will go more towards the river side. Right, you pushed through. Oh, you ran straight into the general's bodyguard, actually. Cavalry's running down another regiment over there. They're forming square. I need to hit the enemy troops in the back. We've got... Oh, National Guard has turned up. Finally, the National Guard has turned up. Revolutionary Cavalry here, fighting against the Swiss troops, Royal Suédois, and then regiments of the Old Order. We need to push some of these bastards away, so that we can get hold of some of the cannons. And then canister can be utilized. Let's move the regiments forward. And this one will move to here. Demi brigades on the move. There's such an overwhelming amount of enemy troops that I will probably... Oh, is this my horseman? Yes, it is. But I'm no interest in fighting all the way over there. More of an interest in going after the troops back here. We're sending away some enemy regiments. Right, we're opening fire along this line. You should open fire. Cavalry kind of squeezed in there. We do have a few cannons here, which we might be able to take control of. Demi brigades move like that. Artillery will sit in the back. Oh, we did secure this area. We did secure this area. Which battery held those guns? Right, we are back. We are back. We're gonna be able to take control of one of these guns, and we'll be able to fire onto the enemy. Right. Corps Infantry of the Republic. That's one of my units managed to survive there. Incredible. Pull back towards here, so that you don't stand in front of the artillery. The enemy is holding on. I want canister. And we've got too many friendly troops in the way here to actually properly fire the guns. I could fire up here towards these. But we have a slight area here where I can actually fire through. Our cavalry isn't doing too hot. They broke. We have a small unit here that needs to retreat. The canisters seem to have worked because the enemy unit there is now retreating. But we cannot lose sight of anything else to fire upon. The enemy is pulling forward. So it's time to order the Demi brigades to once more open fire on the King's troops. We've got the Swiss Guard is back in action. There's 50 of them left as they hold on. There's such a slaughter over here. I wonder what's going on the rest of the battlefield. There's no time to check that. We've got more of the King's troops right ahead of us. We will fire straight through, possibly hitting our own troops here, as there is such an absolute mess in this area. We've got our horsemen is falling back. All our troops here is actually falling back. I want the cannons to fire straight through everything. The king's troops making their way towards the final barrier, which is the demi-brigades. They once more attacked the artillery crews set up by the farm. Put the artillery crew behind you. The thing is, the king's troops are now so tired. They've pushed so far, but they're all breaking apart. Napoleon will take his cavalry and move in. It would have been better if Napoleon was a cannon unit, wouldn't it? Old Napoleon and his revolutionary cavalry rides out, charging in. Right, let's see them off. The king's troops. Let's send them off. The enemy general is retreating as well. We have the Royal Corps retreating as the Revolutionary Cavalry is making its way forward. We've got mass retreat among the royal troops over here. Napoleon will charge for the guns. We got 2 bodyguards over there. What enemy troops do we have? Oh, we're attacked by the royals here. Let's see. I still have 2 batteries. Back on the guns. I think we can probably get some canister going on the Swiss Guard. Looks like my allies have successfully managed their battle and are victorious, kind of pushing through. There's a few units holding back, like the Royal Suédois over here, fighting the Sans-Culottes. So we got the knee pants versus the no pants. The troop was sent away by the Swiss Guard. However, I am gonna order the artillery to set up to fire canister. What? Oh, the artillery! Point blank range. It's actually killed Napoleon. That's unexpected. Well, we'll say that he was just wounded. There's no way we can say that Napoleon died. Right, reorganize the demi-brigades. That would have been quite the alternate history, wouldn't it, if Napoleon died? Advance. They're actually rallying some troops of the old order. We've got these can form a brigade to move that way. Napoleon continues out, or Napoleon and his bodyguard continues after the enemy artillery. Can I get more canister going here on the guards? The Swiss Guards, the last troops to hold in protecting the king. This is, I didn't know that there was custom maps actually. It's first now when I do this battle right here. The Swiss Guard They're holding out for as long as they can. The entire enemy army is defeated. They've got National Guard turning up in the back. There's 80 men left. And they're fighting almost a little over 500 troops out of the Demi Brigade. And the enemy is now running. Hold fire. And at the same time we've crossed the first part here of the creek, moving over to the other side, dealing with what little is left of the King's troops. We do have enemy bodyguards, general's bodyguards, out there. Let's switch to round shot and deal with them. We'll bounce shots through there, see them off. We have a small unit of National Guard, brave enough to march at them. We recall Revolutionary Cavalry. Actually order a direct focus on them. We have this small unit right here. There are quite a few of these custom maps. I wonder if I should try and do some battles with the... Oh, we're out of shot, are we? Not all unit, but a lot of them. Forward. Let's have the cavalry versus the cavalry while we make our advance here to bayonet charge the final force here of the royal troops. There's still even some sans-culottes left. Interesting. Royal Suédois is actually the last infantry unit to hold on. Now they may be called the Royal Swedes, but at the time of the revolution most troops would have been German. But they did have, at times, even as late as this, that they did have Swedish commanders. I believe von Feschen was one of those commanders. Completely overrunning the troop. They didn't really stand a chance, given the numbers. We overrun that. Let's see if we can't... I don't know what got stuck in my throat there. But yeah, the battle is done. There isn't really any enemies left to fight us, except for this general's bodyguard way out here. So I think we very much can call it a day. Here's the statistics of the battle. As we can see, the troops deployed weren't really that equal. The thing is that the royal troops had 300 men per unit, while the revolutionary ones, like the sans-culottes and the National Guard, had 330 men per unit. So if you have 10 units, that's 300 and... well, whatever. And they didn't have a general either. My allies didn't have a proper general for commanding them. So that's why the numbers are a lot higher in those compared to the royal troops. And my own troops quite high as well. Also, this army actually had the women, the fishmongers as well. So that's why it's almost 5,000. So we did outnumber the royals quite a bit. Although they put up quite the fight. They were able to kill about, 7,000 of us. Some of our units did really poorly. The sans-culottes killed about 1,000 while losing 4,000, so that's not too great. The Revolutionary Guard, or the National Guard I should say, killed about roughly the same as what they lost. And then there's quite the discrepancy for me then. I still lost 2,500 men, but I killed 5,000 in the process. When it comes to the actual statistics, we can see that Napoleon was able to kill 255 before he got wounded. And in terms of the highest, we've got this Republican Corps, which got almost 500 kills, and that goes for the top 3 units. I would think the demi-brigades would do more, given that the demi-brigades have higher accuracy, but I guess they weren't able to fire or fight for as long as the others. Unfortunately, the cannons, I weren't able to use them as I would have liked. I think if I would have gotten more canister out of those early on, we would have seen higher kill rates on these. But with that, we've gone through the statistics, and now let's head back to the campaign map. And here we are on the campaign map. So I decided to spare you the kind of very lackluster revolutionary mechanic that Empire has, as the army is kind of split in two, roughly, where some of the troops go to the king and some of the troops go to the revolutionaries. In terms of what we got, I think we had one army spawn for us. So I got like one unit with the National Guard, or maybe I got a Sans Culotte, I can't remember. Now I can't even, there we go. I got a single Revolutionary Corps. I got 2 Republican Guard, and that was about it for revolutionary troops. So that, I don't think that would have been interesting the same way as a custom battle would have been, where I could even field Napoleon, even though it's fat old Napoleon. Now, my idea here was really to kind of, the campaign would take on a new shape. As revolutionary France, we would go on to try and paint Europe in the tricolor. We would spread the revolution. But I find that the revolutionary troops is quite lackluster. Now, we do have the Republican Corps, which I don't really like the way they look. I think they could have done a better work with those uniforms. I do like the Napoleonic uniform, but I think they could have, if they wanted to do the Revolutionary Wars for this mod or add it on, I think they could have done better with these uniforms. So we have those, and then we do have the Revolutionary Horsemen, which we can see here. And let's see. I don't think any of the cannons are actually revolutionary. I don't actually have seen what the Revolutionary Guards look like, but I'm sure they're like basically unedited, because you have the same kind of picture there for them. And then we would have had, let's see, yes, National Guard can be recruited, which looks like the vanilla troops. And it looks like kind of the, is it the British or the American vanilla troops? So not great. And then I do think we could, somewhere, the demi-brigades as well. And that's what we can get in Paris. I'm sure we can get the, yeah, we can get the Sans Culotte over in Brussels. And we can also get volunteer revolutionary infantry. Not entirely sure if they would look the part of the revolution. But you know, the idea I had was that we would restyle all the armies to be revolutionary armies, and we would go on the attack. But I think at this point, and the lack, I mean, I'll leave it up to you. Sort of, when I released it, I'll see what kind of comments I get from this, and see if you want to continue doing, sort of revamping the campaign towards, you know, spreading the ideas of the revolution. I should say here, there was cause for revolution, because as we can see here, the government has a whopping 1.7 actually, might be closer to say, 1.7 million gold stored in their bank vaults. And then the populace of France is only 10 million. Now notice this, just as I was looking around here, I noticed that Paris was 10 million, and I thought, that seems, or France was 10 million, and I thought, that's a little, right? Because England is 23, as I went back to check, and when the campaign starts, France has 28 million. And then, you know, I'm guessing we probably gained a few millions as well. I'm not entirely sure where I went wrong, and I lost 18 million people in France. But yeah, they got broken down. Also, I've decided not to repair the engineer school because it's broken actually. If I repair that, suddenly I can't recruit troops directly from here. I'm not entirely sure why. I can, however, the way I got around it last time was that I can still get the troops through here. I can recruit them like this. So yeah, let's not bring it up too much, but yeah, my idea was restyle it, only revolutionary infantry, and then trying to conquer basically all of Europe, spreading the revolution, and then we wouldn't try to maintain like I did here for the past bit, where I've reinstated all of the Holy Roman Empire states. Kind of interesting here because Denmark sold Iceland to Westphalia, but then Westphalia fell to revolution, so now the region that Westphalia originally held, which was the Rhineland, is now held by a new state, which is the Hessians. So we've got Hessen there instead. So we got the Westphalians stuck out there. They've lost their own province. But I reinstated Hanover. I believe I reinstated Hanover. And Württemberg and Bavaria and so on. And Prussia. I did Poland. However, Prussia didn't like that. And Russia didn't like that. So now they're stuck with Livonia. Kurland also rised back in, and they immediately became a protectorate of Poland. As the Austrians continually decided to attack me, even though I was so gracious in giving them tons of territory, even giving them Constantinople, I decided, you know what, we're gonna switch out the Habsburgs that are controlling it. So we sent in the Spanish side of it. So Spain got it, and it became a little bit of a mess in this area. I also gave a lot of Russian territory over to Sweden to force a break in their alliance, because as I was fighting the Russians, which was the main big empire to fight at the time, we were fighting back and forth here, and we weren't really making that many gains until I was able to slip an army by ship and attacking in the back. So we went in, we took St. Petersburg, we took Moscow, and then we took the two back here as well. And we handed that over to Sweden. That broke their alliance down eventually, but we were almost actually on the verge of destroying the Russians. The Russians had the Karelian region, they had these four in here, and then they had Moldova and the Galician region left. Everything else had been lost to others, but they were able to regain once I decided to leave the mess and focus on my revolution. Another side note, just to say here at the very end, the Ottomans were suffering from bankruptcy, I'm guessing, and so they actually sold me Armenia. So now I've got Armenia, we've got dead men, 90 men with 50 morale and really high melee skills. We also have two Ukrainian hussars, a Kharkov, or I always misspoke about that. Mariupol hussars as well. Everyone's very familiar now with Ukrainian geography, given what has happened as of late. But there we have it. As I said, I'll leave it up to you guys. So I will leave it so that I have it ready in case you want to continue this. Otherwise, we'll focus over on the 30 Years War mod. And with that, I think we're done. Yes. So, as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoy this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.